Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Certruth Podcast. We're in our final season here on the show. Coach Marty is my co-host, of course. Coach, today you and I are joined, and it's an absolute pleasure to be with Junior Brody Bumilla. Brody, welcome to the show, bud.
Pleasure to be here.
I love it.
Good start.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Brody is a commit to the University of Texas for baseball, which is a huge D1 program, and you're in your junior year right now. We got spring sports coming. You're coming off of practice right now, so we're really happy you could come out today. We got a lot to talk about, but Brody, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's my pleasure. I always want to come on.
Is this a bucket list item for you, maybe? Perhaps?
I think it is, yeah. You know, since freshman year when you did the interviews with the boys after basketball and after some of the baseball games, I was like, yeah, I want to take an interview with you after I commit to college.
I love it, and you know what? I'm so excited to unpack so much stuff today. Let's start off with your baseball journey. We kind of last year we had Shane Evans on, who committed to the University of UMass Lowell, and that was a great interview because he talked to us through the whole process. But you are going to a big school. But let's rewind before we get to any of that. Where did you kind of start? When was your earliest baseball memory?
So I probably when I was 5 or 6, you know, playing like the just t-ball, playing like coach pitch ball. I always kind of had a love for the game, and I was always kind of talented. My mom always said I threw the ball hard at a very young age, and you know, I always just loved the game through travel ball, through town ball, through all-stars, through all of that, and it was just a really fun experience, and it kind of kept going, and then it was right about, I would say, 8th grade-ish, and I was like, okay, I want to play baseball in college, so I just made the choice to start committing to baseball, and then that really showed my freshman summer, my freshman spring, and then it really fully kicked in about sophomore winters. When I hit my first 90, I got up to 94, and then it just kept spiraling down and down until about, I would say, when I went to the USA Baseball, the National Player and Development Trials in July of 2024, so last summer, and that was probably when I really knew that I was gonna do something big with baseball.
Yeah, that's a lot of information. Something I wanted to kind of pick your brain at a little bit was when you were talking about that freshman, sophomore summer, when you started to realize, hey, I'm a little better at this than everybody else. What was that process like? When was your first realization like, I'm not just good at baseball, I could have something great at baseball?
I mean, that was even when I was younger, because, you know, it's always a kid's dream to go play a professional sport, to go be, you know, what the people you idolize. And, you know, I always say that happened, but I started to fall off around freshman year. I started to be just as good as everyone else. And then it wasn't really until I started learning how to actual routine, how to lift, how to do all of that. And then I would say from there, I was like, if I can start doing this, start building the days, getting better every day, that's when I can really, you know, do something about baseball.
Yeah, wow.
Nice. How were your early playing days? Did you play multiple positions? Were you growing up playing multiple sports? I know you play hoops here.
Yeah, I played basketball. I played football for 2 years. Didn't really like it. You know?
No way, no kidding.
Yeah. You know, being the super skinny tall kid, you know, it's not.
Were you always tall? What was the deal?
I was, and then it kind of started to fall off about 8th grade, maybe start a freshman year, and then I grew like 4 or 5 inches, and I was like, okay, this is what I'm
shooting
more.
Up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really interesting. That's a really interesting start. You know, you would think that somebody who has such a fortunate career path as you right now would start out a little bit advanced, but it is interesting to see how this was just a kind of a short realization thing. I want to ask you, because you had such short time to kind of, or, you know, from now until when you first started realizing like, hey, this could be something, what did you do to prepare yourself? Who were some of the coaches, some of the organizations? Like, where did that whole process start of, hey, I got to get into gear?
I mean, I'd always say it was probably my original, this is like my old coaches, like from 7U to 12U, I had this coach Dan Corey, and then I had a just overall baseball coach named Mike Torres, and they probably really kick-started my career. They got me all the fundamentals, everything, and then when I went to go play for GBG, I was like, and they were like, hey, you have all the tools, you just have to really be able to grasp baseball and really be able to like commit to everything, because it is a hard game. You have to do the same thing over and over every day to get better, and you know, sometimes that's what probably was like those two coaches. And then it was really just, I hurt my arm in 8th grade year. It was only a strain of my UCL, but then that's when I really started to do some research, really started to be like, hey, I have to do this before I throw, I have to do this after I throw, and then I would say even from just doing that, it helped me substantially.
Yeah, I think that's interesting where you talk about the amount of strain it takes, because a pitcher is a lot more different of a position than, or especially for you, because you're very pitching specific. And I know you talked about being injured in 8th grade, so kind of want to segue into your high school career so far, because that is, of course, when people start getting a lot of, people in your position get heavily looked at. So walk me through kind of starting with your freshman year, how that kind of whole thing worked out, because I heard, were you on JV freshman year? Is that correct?
Yeah, I was on JV freshman year, which I didn't think I deserved. I thought I was supposed to be on varsity, but it was okay. I kind of proved my point on why I should be on varsity, and then that summer really proved it, and same with the fall. And then going into sophomore year, high expectations, was just misused my arm a little bit then, kind of had a few setbacks, and then it was really when I was able to come back for my sophomore summer was when I would say performed at my best.
Right.
I got up to 96. I was able to go to some tournaments I never thought I was. I went to Team Massachusetts and got to play in Omaha, which was really cool, because you at most you get to play there 3 times in your collegiate career in your life, and I already got one. So
yeah, well, talk to me about that. Talk to me about how that whole thing came about. What was the process like? Like, what was the day-to-day of getting to play for that, like a team with that much prestige?
Well, that team was always it was very fun, because it didn't have the expectations, and like you had to do this as maybe like the Team USA had, or even as my travel program. It was like do your own thing was all relaxed, but like when we got on the field, we competed. It was really a surreal experience to get in the locker room, to get be at Omaha, because that's a lot of people want to play professional, but you forget that you have to go. Your college is still a step in your journey, and that's the most prestigious place in all of college baseball. Is
yeah.
Omaha.
So when you got that invite, what was the reaction?
Well, I was a little confused at first. That was really my first big invite to anything. So I was like, oh, hey, I'm definitely going to do it, but I was a little skeptical. Mm-hmm. I was just coming back from like an arm tweak, and I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to do this just for the experience, but just be a little more cautious and just take my time. But when you get there, the adrenaline, it's just go, go, go.
Yeah.
I hit the ground running with them.
What would you say, so when you get out there, have you evolved in terms of your strategy, your pitching strategy, over the course of you playing more? Like, what, without giving too much away, we don't want anyone to see this, right?
Yeah.
Well, we want people to see it.
We want people to see it, but maybe not.
Yeah, so I'd say my pitching strategy, especially at young age, was just fastball. I mean, I was big, I threw pretty hard, and then when it's always been fastball. It's just, that's the best pitch in the game, and guess what? The best hitter in the game still gets out 7 times out of every 10.
Right.
True.
So if you dominate the zone with a fastball, even just throwing it middle, just being aggressive, you're going to get out. So now, especially when I have the velo now, I have everything I need now, I can just hit the ground running with, a 95-mile-an-hour fastball middle and be like, hey, you're not going to hit that, so I'm going to throw it again.
Yeah. How many pitches do you have? What are your pitches? How many pitches do you have? What are your favorites?
So
besides fastball?
My fastball, of course, and then I have a changeup and a sweeper I'm working on.
Is that like a slide?
It's a slider, but so a sweeper is a newer pitch, but it's kind of been around, but no one ever called it a sweeper. So it moves about 8 to 9 more inches horizontally than a slider, and it has less vertical movement, so it kind of looks like this,
like a cross,
compared to a slider where it's kind of like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Max, you hit that or what? Any baseball career for you?
You know what? I had a pretty gnarly Wii baseball career back in the day, but that was pretty much it. I want to ask, because something that's unique about you is you're left-handed. If that's I understand that correctly.
Yeah.
So
confirmed.
How often do you see that kind of play into your game? I mean, it must.
Always. I mean, with being a lefty, is just was such a blessing for me, because that's what people want. We want a left-handed pitcher. It looks a lot different, especially for me, because I'm a lower arm slot. I'm taller.
Yep.
I really get the ball out on the side as a lefty like this, and people aren't usually used to that, and they're just like, whoa. I've never seen a pitch like that before, so that's been helpful.
Now, talk to me about some of because I'm sure you've gone through a bunch of different clubs, you've done high school. Talk to me about some other players. A term I like to see a lot is iron sharpens iron. Are there any other players, either in the Fiend community or elsewhere, that you've really gotten your teachings worth?
So I would definitely start in the Fiend community. It was probably like I would say Andrew Shute. I would say it was probably not even freshman. It was probably freshman year. I'd say it was some of the seniors. They'd always compete me because I was like, hey, I think I'm better than you as a freshman, so I'm going to go show it. But then sophomore year, I'd definitely say it was Andrew Shute because we were literally on the same program 7 days a week from October to that March when the season started. And I was like, hey, I'm going to go out and try to be better than you every practice, every scrimmage, everything. And then, we both got so much better from just being able to compete with each other literally every day. If it was lifting, if it was throwing, it was all of that.
Right, and Andrew, if I'm not mistaken, is now committed to
Northeastern.
Yep, so he's committed to Northeastern, so definitely check out Andrew. Hopefully we could have him on the pod in the future.
Bring him on.
Yeah, exactly. That's great to hear, though, that you have somebody like that to always keep you in healthy competition with. That's great to hear. Let's talk about your sophomore year a little bit more, because I was fortunate enough to call your guys' games. I loved being at the home games and announcing all you boys. But I want to talk about how that kind of went, because I know halfway through the year you kind of had a slump with the arm a little bit, but you're kind of coming back. You're healthy. You're doing great. How did that kind of happen, and what were some notable moments from your junior year?
So I'd say my sophomore year I was definitely overused at the start. Throwing 110 pitches in a game in April isn't really how you use a pitcher.
Right.
And, I'd say that definitely tweaked my arm a bit. I was like, okay, I got to take some time off. Coaches weren't too happy about that, but I was like, I got injured, what can we do? And then I would say I definitely locked in for hitting there. I think I batted .430 throughout the year. So definitely good for me, and definitely helped me a lot to just focus on hitting. And then, I would say the most notable moment was probably our walk-off on senior night.
I remember this.
And then I'd probably say my home run against AC.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because that was probably one of the farthest balls in my life.
I want to talk about your other side of the ball, hitting. Do you get to do that as much as you'd like, or is that more of just like a kind of arcade mode for you, where you just kind of get to?
It's arcade mode, because everyone loves taking swings in baseball, but the idea is I don't want to face myself. If I stood in the box against someone throwing 95, I'm stepping out.
Right.
So I think I get the perfect amount, because I get, the spring hitting where I face a little bit slower, and then I get the summer where I just get to relax, be a PO, do my own thing, improve, and then I get a hit in the winter for spring. So
that's awesome.
I think it's a good balance.
Yeah, that's a great balance. If the viewers are wondering, we're all a little bit skeptical. It's a nice afternoon here at Fian, but the three of us are rather hungry, so we have ordered
let's see
pizza, ready
Waiting
for
on a DoorDash order or something?
Exactly. So hopefully,
let's call this.
We can get an appearance from the DoorDasher, but that's what we just love to see,
Oh, there you go. You're hearing live.
Am I on this too?
Yeah, you'll be on it.
Live.
I talk a little bit loud in the phone.
That's all right.
Got to support the economy, right, boys?
We love interesting segments.
As we
here
learn
in
at Fian.
This is probably one of the more
we got a
exotic
business
segments.
teacher right here. So,
dabble into it a little, Brody. You're mixing it in. Are you signing up for the classes next year too?
Yeah, I got business fundamentals and I got financial literacy.
We'll have to talk a lot.
Definitely gonna be fun.
Those are questions I have for you. And I don't know. Are you leaving a message, Max?
I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what this lady's doing.
Maybe he can tell me his baseball.
Oh, are we on site? Or is delivery on site?
This delivery has been on site for about 3 minutes.
We're as confused as a Fian driver over there, huh?
Yeah,
the entrance, the exit.
I don't know what. Well, we'll figure it out. Let's just text her quickly and say.
Well, he does that. Coach Marty, let's do a little recap.
What's going on around Fian right now for sports?
We've had a ton of things going on, and it's been quite a long absence. I guess I could start by giving my 2 cents towards the winter sports that have just recapped at Fian. I didn't have a big chance to cover a lot this year. Things were kind of slowing down for me, getting ready for the track season. But we had the pleasure of watching our girls basketball team go to the state finals again, which was an absolute pleasure. Those seniors are absolute powerhouses. Charlotte Adams, Maddie Steele, Lily Singer, Sam Carlson, Delia McKenna, a great senior group. Really awesome watching them play. And then, of course, we had the boys basketball team, which, Brody, you got named CCL All-Star. So let's kind of transition to that a little bit. Talk to me.
The season was full of what-ifs, I feel like, because I did have an ankle sprain then.
That's right.
When I was on the court, we went 11-0 when I was on the court. And, we beat I would say the highlight of my season was definitely being my hometown BR. You know,
nice.
I think I had 30 points that game, and got a couple dunks, so it was always fun to do that.
Yeah.
But, I loved the season, and I really think that the guys bonded really well. And I think that's going to lead very well in the next season. So
Yeah.
it's always good.
Captain too, captain?
Yeah, I am a captain.
Well, congratulations on being a future captain.
Now, do you think, I love the fact that you play multiple sports, even though you're focusing on baseball.
Yeah.
Do you think that's helped you continuing on your career?
Yeah, because the thing about pitching is when you get too stationary and you just keep repeating your pitching motion over and over, it will eventually hurt you.
Yeah.
So to always remain athletic, and me getting 3 months of where I'm a little bit deloading on baseball, deloading on life, and I don't have to worry about
keeping your competition levels high, which I love.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always a competitor, It's every practice, too. I always want to be the best person at practice. I want to, end the day being like, hey, I did better than everyone else on the field, so I'm going to get better than them.
How many dunks this year did you have? I'm mad I didn't see you play.
I think I had close to 30.
Really?
I had about 3 a game, yeah. I think on the
I didn't have any, Max. What about you?
I could have made 31. I just didn't want to try out.
Yeah, I think on the huddle it said like 2 point something a game, and I played 11 games.
How about that, huh?
There you go. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I won't lie. Talking about that group, though, that group of seniors, what a fun group watching to play. Brian Welch, you got Colin Curry, Sam Haggerty. Those are just all those Ben Amani. Those seniors are great to watch.
You got Phil.
Phil, of course.
I forgot Phil. Probably the only model I'm ever going to be a team.
The man in the blazer,
Actually,
as they call him.
The man, the man in the blazer. Maybe we'll have him on soon, huh?
Maybe.
So we kind of talked about your junior season, and in a minute, I want to talk to you about how the whole college recruiting process goes. Somewhere in between those conversations, hopefully the pizza arrives.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this lady.
Yeah, you know what?
It's always good for breakfast.
Exactly. We'll figure it out. Right now, though, I want to talk to you about what you're doing to prepare for your junior season, because you just got off practice, and we're fortunate enough that you could join us. We have. Let's talk about this facility we got behind us, a newly instilled facility. Your freshman year, you were here for the gravel.
We were on the beach, baby.
Yeah.
Let's say that. It was
The grass beach.
I always like didn't know that the beach was named after someone. I thought it was called the beach because the sand we played on was so bad. Some of the bounces you get, and you just be like, how did baseball do that?
Yeah.
But I'd say that was probably not a very good experience on that field, and we got probably one of the best fields in the state now. And we got a good gym, and our coaching staff, who's probably the best in the state now. We have access to a full indoor facility, so that's always nice.
No kidding. Where's that at?
Mansfield.
Very nice.
You know where MPlex is?
Yeah. Okay.
It's the baseball connector.
Right. Is that RBI?
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
So talk about the new coach too. So who's the new coach? You said there are other coaches that came on. Where'd you learn about?
I think he might still be here if you want me to give him a little text. And I see our pizza driver over there too, who's walking around.
So things are looking up. We have an
things are looking up. We do.
Well,
I'm here.
Maybe you run it down.
Let me just go check. Let's see if we're still going. We're still going strong. I think we can have. We can just keep going. We can keep the conversation going.
Well, would you want to figure this out or what?
Yeah. Let's call the DoorDash guy. He's over there sitting in the car, and I don't know. I'm trying to ask him to come around.
What a hectic episode we have today.
I swear they never pick up the phone. I think I've called DoorDash drivers. Yeah, he was holding the pizza in his hand.
Never a dull
Where'd you get
moment
it from?
here in the Certruth
Route
Podcast.
152 Pizza. I don't know.
Is it local?
Yeah, it is.
Circling back.
This guy won't quit, man.
I know.
Like fee in baseball.
Well, there we go.
Let's see.
calling the right pizza
So
guy?
Yeah,
Brody
I've been here.
figures
Where are
out
you?
his pizza dilemma, Coach. If you want to go figure that out.
Nah.
Okay, sure, no problem.
Just remember your mic's on in case you.
Exactly. Oh, there you go.
Just
So,
gotta always remember.
Coach,
Coach Green,
continuing off of the basketball season, right before we get back into Brody's preparation, I also wanted to say be on the lookout for a little March Madness recap episode I filmed. I have been fortunate enough to be training, I guess you could say, Ava Hanley. So everybody, this is a quick little, I guess, advertisement. Be on the lookout for Ava. She's also doing a lot of sports media stuff with us. So it's going to be great to see how she works out next year. She's very interested, and who knows, she could even be doing this exact same thing one
Right
day.
on the Rock Report too,
Exactly,
right?
right
Covering
on the
a lot
Rock
of different
Report.
subjects.
So me and her recently filmed the March Madness episode, recapping rounds 1 and 2. That should be out shortly, and I'm really excited for people to see that. She did such a great job. Make sure you show love love to that on the Instagram page. We'll put her socials up when that goes up. But March Madness is going off too, just as we're talking about basketball. So he figures out that stuff. Have you been watching any of it?
I have not a lot of madness this year. I think that's really kind of the consensus of it. My bracket is terrible, but that's every year.
Now, I've been rather lucky in our bracket. We got a couple brackets with some of the fellas here at FIAN. In our FIAN 1, currently, I am ranked number 1.
Seriously?
It's about 19 people, but my
That's still
possible
good.
points is a little low, and with this round tonight, we got Bama, BYU game. It's going to be hectic.
Oh, that's tonight.
Yeah. But there's been some madness, I'd say. If you watch the Maryland game,
I mean, that was quite. Yeah, did you see that? That looked like a Brody move.
You know, I seriously was like, there was nothing going on, I swear, all March Madness, because you look at, there was barely any upsets. It's the first time in like 6 years that there wasn't a 1, 2, 3, or 4 seed upset. So I was like, there's not really a lot of madness.
McNeese had a good.
They had a little momentum with the manager and everything.
They had a good run, but like them against Clemson wasn't even that ridiculous.
Yeah,
it was I think like it was like a minus like 4.5.
Texas made it, right?
They made it, but they lost to Xavier and play-in. But they were up by like 20 at half. So I went to bed. I was like, okay, they got this. I wake up, they lost by 6. I was like, come on.
Well, maybe you can get the thing. What do you think of Austin? Tell us about Austin, Texas.
Well, yeah, let's talk about the whole recruiting process.
Austin, I think, is one of the most beautiful cities I've ever been to in my life. And
keep Austin weird, right?
Yeah, I think I've been to 3 dozen American cities, and I think that's definitely the best I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
So
what do you like?
It's because the campus is pretty small. It's 40 acres, but I didn't really get experience, like the nightlife. Like I didn't get to go out at night, but like even just seeing the city, driving around the campus. You're on the outskirts of campus. You're right next to the city, and you just get to see like the beautiful buildings. It's pretty calm considering how big it is. Yeah.
I spent some time down there when I was doing a marketing trip. I actually have some friends who play live music. I'll put you in touch when you go down there. But you can't beat it. Some of the best live music in the country by far. It's like pure country.
That's awesome. But
you ever been, Max?
To Texas? No, I haven't been to Texas. Over the weekend, I had the pleasure of going down to Oxford, Mississippi, though. That kind of southern feel.
Did you see former show guest?
I did visit former podcast guest Sean Judge. It was a great time. I got to see Sean for a little bit, toured the university. I got to tour the broadcasting school, which was very cool. Yeah, I could talk about that. So hopefully in the next couple of years, you'll see me doing what I'm doing now, doing what I love, which is this sports broadcasting
there's our
world.
Pizza.
And the pizza is coming. So
you want to go get it? Or?
I need to run up and flag him down at least.
You want to go grab them? I can talk about my bro.
Yeah, talk about your Max Madness.
Yeah, I'll tell.
Remember you have the thing on the mic on. You might want to move. Yeah, leave the mic.
Yeah.
We don't want any controversy here. Controversy free.
All right, we'll pop that down there. All right, so
are we going to get a commitment episode at some point? Save it for the show.
Maybe at some point. Maybe I'll just come out of nowhere one day and you'll see me on
do the hats or something.
That would be the dream, I guess.
So what'd you think? What'd you think of it?
I thought it was great. So we showed up there on Friday and we got there in the morning, and the tour was Saturday. So we didn't know what we were doing. We were just walking around campus, and we stumbled upon the journalism school, which we thought the broadcasting center was in originally, but it ended up not being in there. So then we transitioned over to this this room where somebody told us the broadcasting school was, and we peeked our head in, and the director came out. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but he said, "Can I help?"
Director of the
whole broadcasting school. So
very cool.
He asked if we could help, if he could help us, and I said, we're just looking around, and he said, well, let me give you a private tour. So we thought, well, why not? So they had a great program down there. They had a whole news setup, whole table and everything. They had the teleprompters. They had places for radio stations to run out of. They had article writing desks. They had producers. They had all this stuff, and it's all student run, which is great. They have a lot of highly sought after programs there. So I'm so happy because I got into there, and I'm looking between there, UNH, URI. So we don't know where I'll land right now, and we have pizza, and just like that, we can get back into the star of the show. Brody, now that you got your pizza, I'll let you have a slice.
Is this a review? Is this an impromptu review?
No, we are in Boston. We can run a little Dave Portnoy pizza review. Should we all give a little?
Y'all could get a piece.
All right, we'll all give a little.
I'll just take a bite. Thank you, Brody. I owe you one.
No, that's fine. And then we a couple extra.
Yeah. I'll probably slip something. No, I'm not implicating myself. You got to earn it, Brody.
Yeah,
You too.
I know. Well,
What do you think?
it's good. I mean, if the guy came a little bit quicker, it might have been
yeah,
better, 'cause it's really
service.
hot.
We'll rate it on 3 scales here. This is the Certruth 3-scale pizza rating.
3 scale as in, so
As
we'll just give
in
a number?
service.
Would you great? Okay. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Out of 10, I would say about I mean, not the pizza, the DoorDash, I'd give it 2.
Okay.
I mean, delivering on a football field, probably don't get that every day, but is this out of 10? Is it out of 10?
David
Out of
Quinn
10.
delivered on the football field every Friday night.
Hey, yo.
Number 2, taste. Brody, talk to me about the taste.
You know, I get the pizza, I would say, I've got it a couple times before basketball games, you know, sometimes I've been here, but I'd say it's pretty good. You know, I'd probably give it a 6.4 or 7.4, you know. It's good, but I think it could be a little bit, of course, hotter and a little bit, I would say a little bit more crispy.
Sure. And I guess we'll go with scale 3. Coach, presentation. What do you think of the pizza?
I'm probably going to be in the 7.2 range area. I do like the crispness of it. I like the crust. I do like the thin crust. Have you guys ever had any like deep dish or anything?
From Uno's. Only from
I'm not talking
Uno's.
about that. I'm talking about Midwest deep dish. None of that.
It's a good authentic pizza. Talk to me about your authentic pizza.
Well, in the Midwest, I mean, I did a year in Chicago. Maybe a future team, we'll see. But the pizza was terrific. But it's a certain taste, it's a certain presentation. Presentation overall, I like it. You know, I've seen better, but again, good. Gets us through the night.
Yeah. All right. Well, after that short little intermission, Brody, now this is one of the most, I would say, from what I've seen from episodes in the past, one of the most favorite segments on this show when I've done with big college commit athletes like yourself. Talk to me about your recruiting process. How did that all reach out? Who reached out to you? What visits did you go on? How were they? Just talk to me about that whole experience.
So I would say I did get an advisor about January of my sophomore year. And, you know, I think it was a great decision. That opened me up to so much. But the thing was, you know, he prepped me the July 31st, because August 1st, when you start talking to colleges, he said, you're probably going to get a bunch of calls. I just said, I'm sleeping through the night. I had stuff to do that morning anyway where I couldn't be on my phone. And I would say I woke up at about 7 a.m. to about 15 voice messages or text messages, and then I took about 20 calls the next 2 days with colleges. And, you know, after about a week, I dimmed it down to 8.
Who were the 8, if you remember?
Yeah, so
I get lost with my D1 offers too. You know, I was a hell of a kickoff player. So.
Well, I would say the easy top 2 was Wake Forest and Texas. Those were the only 2 schools I toured because, you know, I do believe they're the 2 best pitching schools in the country by far. Corey Muscara, the Wake Forest pitching coach, you know, I went to his campus as a sophomore. He loved me. He was a really good dude. Their head coach, Tom Walter, great dude too. And then Texas, you have Max Wiener, who's the pitching coach, and I would say my favorite coach in all of college. He's just an amazing dude. I just truly loved him. He was a great guy. And all the analytical stuff he did, I was like, wow, this guy's probably the best assistant coach in the entire country. And then you have the head coach of Texas, Jim Schlossnagle, who I would say is the most successful college baseball coach. And now he's at the most successful college baseball school. So, you know, really when I started to think about it, I was like, hey, this is the one of one school. This is the best school in the country. I'm going to be the only kid from Massachusetts to commit to Texas for any sport in decades.
Wow.
So
that's awesome. And then that's how you kind of landed at Texas.
Yeah.
And you're I'm sure your family, I know all your friends were all rallying behind you, and I'm sure that felt great. So, you know, now you got the commitment under your belt. I'm sure that kind of eases some pressure on you.
Mm-hmm.
But talk to me about the pressure for your upcoming years, your junior and senior year. What do you hope to get out of those before you go off to college?
Well, of course, I hope to get out to be the best player possible. You know, if I do get a chance of being drafted, increase my draft stock, all of that type of stuff. But I would just say really have fun, because I would even say now, baseball has been a business for me for a couple months now, and like especially when I get to college or if I just get drafted out of high school, it's going to be even more of a business. So I'm just going to say really enjoy it, and of course get better and try to be the best player possible and try to win hopefully 2 state championships for my team.
Yeah, that's a great. I mean,
Start to invest, buddy.
Yeah.
We'll talk about
Already
that
have.
much more. Good.
Yeah.
Much more next year. Max will tell you all about that.
there you go.
Crush that
Financial
class.
literacy, business
I love it.
fundamentals, marketing,
So
communications.
do you have like sort of a mini team with your family and an agent? Who are
So-
the people you're talking with?
I have an advisor, Alex Ott, who I think it's called Wasserman. It's their company.
Yeah.
I would say it's probably one of the best, probably the best advisory company in the country. And I have a great relationship with Alex. And then I also work with Hank Sargent, who's Chris' sales agent,
Okay.
who works with Wasserman too. And we work pretty close together, but we haven't really gotten to the deepness of business yet because there's really no point. I really haven't gotten NIL deals. I really haven't gotten stuff where I have to be like, hey,
I mean, the pizza. The local shop.
Well,
we got
with
a good
delivery
businessman. We gotta pay for this
If
stuff.
you
man.
know,
No free
Certruth
shout outs.
NIL deal.
you know, I'd say like when I do start making money out of baseball, they'll be like, hey, here's our guy. You can go with him if you want. If not, trust your parents. Do all of that.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I do have a pretty good team behind me.
Good. Well, I mean, if you need any
What a
promos,
mouthful.
this guy right here, he's got the voiceover talent, the acting talent,
Yeah, if you
the
know,
pizza review talent now.
yeah, if your coach knows anybody that needs you to call the at-bats up there at Texas, I'm always available. But Brody, I'm so happy to talk to you about your whole journey. I just kind of want to wrap up with something that I always like to do. Talk to me about Brody Bumilla, not the baseball player, not the basketball player, not the athlete. Talk to me about Brody, the person. What can somebody find you doing on a day off? What are some of your hobbies that you like to do? And just, talk to me about your life outside of baseball.
I'd say like I really need of course my days off are going to be relaxing days, but I always want to just try to get out and live, a high school experience, not even like just live a high school experience with my friends, because when I do get to college, I've already said it, but like life's going to completely change for me. So if I can go out and just hang out with my friends, it'll feel so much better for me as an off day. So I'd say my hobby is just like kind of hanging out with friends, playing golf in the summer, going out to maybe dinner with my family, and just I always try to stay as positive as possible doing all of that, because I know one day it could all either go away. So
Yeah.
I always have to just enjoy every moment.
That's awesome. Brody, this has been an absolutely amazing episode. Do you have any other closing remarks, any other final questions for either me or Coach Marty? Or
No, where are you going to college though? Are you going to?
So we had this talk.
Is this
We
the
were
college
We were
commitment
just
right here?
we were just talking about it. When we don't know when the big reveal is.
Yeah,
So it might have to be its own episode.
Right now, it's kind of narrowed down to, I think, URI, University of Rhode Island, UNH, New Hampshire, or the University of Mississippi. I hope on being a walk-on long snapper there. Nope, all jokes aside. I would love to go there to Ole Miss or URI or UNH and continue what I'm doing now. And if I'm lucky, maybe one day I can cross your path again in the sports world. That would be the dream. But I'm not sure right now. That's going to have to be an episode for another day.
Maybe like when you're in April or May, you have Ava do it. So like she becomes the new, Certruth, she becomes the new podcaster and announces your farewell.
You know what?
Idea.
I wouldn't hate it, and we'll see how everything pans out. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Max Certruth. It's been an absolute pleasure to be joined today by Coach Marty O'Brien and Brody Bumilla. In the future, look out for any episodes coming up. We have a March Madness recap coming out. We have a lot of lacrosse content that's going to be filmed during the spring, as well as a lot of baseball content. I'm so excited. And hoodies, if you're interested, Coach Marty can show them off, of course.
Maybe you can zoom in on that when you're editing. So
Of course.
very comfortable, great cut, Max.
You know what? He's not being paid to say that.
I am not.
100%, unbiased. So if you're interested in those,
I'm a fan
always
of the
reach
show.
out on Instagram. This has been a great day here at Fian. We got to watch the sunset. I've been Max Certruth with the Certruth Podcast. Good night.